at Todin with Anant and Bhashwati ma'am and all of you here. Um, Interestingly, I was just sharing with Anant that I wanted to be here longer, come earlier, but my younger son isn't keeping well, and I was home with him. Uh, we were actually at a farm, a rural learning center based on sustainable living in Tamil Nadu. We had a beautiful experience there, but then he came back unwell, my younger son. And yeah, how we make choices depending on what we want to do and sometimes cannot do. And so this reminds me of a story. I'm here to share stories with you for a couple of minutes, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, and that's what I do. I'm a performing artist, I'm a storyteller and educationalist. So I thought I'd start with a story about a woman. So this story starts with a man, a prince, a noble ruler, a just ruler, young, also hot-blooded, who wanted to conquer kingdom after kingdom after kingdom. And so he went on doing that until he reached this one kingdom of an old king. No way. He was badly defeated. Terribly defeated, but the old king called him and said, "Young man, you look like a nice person to me. I'd like to release you rather than keep you here because I think you can do a good job of ruling your kingdom. But I have a condition. I will let you go if you can answer one question." That's it? Yeah, if you can answer this question right, then I will let you go. And so he asked his question. Please tell me, what is it that a woman wants? What is it that a woman truly wants? If you can answer this, you're free. But anyways, you have a month's time to go back, consult people in your kingdom and come back. And so he went and so he tried to ask answers from his people. So do we have any answers here? What does a woman truly want? To be left alone. Freedom from.
Actually, I think she wants to be asked what she wants.
Okay.
I don't think nobody else.
Even the women will not know.
Well, yeah, I think we're saying something close because you see, this young prince went all around and all kinds of answers came up like this. But finally, everybody said, look, if you really want the right answer, and it's a matter of your life, you know, because you're going to stay a prisoner all your life otherwise, you need to consult the witch who lives in the jungle outside. Well, he wasn't keen on that because she was pretty annoying in every way. She looked ugly, she smelled ugly, her manners were obnoxious. But anyway, she had to be approached. And he went to her and he said, look, I heard you have the answers for this. I heard you can tell me what is it that a woman really wants. I can answer that question, but you'll have to marry me for that, she said. The prince was shocked, and then he came back, and there was a consultation in the kingdom, and his chief minister said, no, 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 sire, I can't let you do that. I'll take it on. I'll marry her. Well, they consulted the witch, and she said, yeah, that's fine, even the chief minister will do. And so, the chief minister was married to the witch. And immediately after they got married, the first question he asked, he said, tell me, what is it that women really want? A woman really wants to be able to make her own choice. Yeah, thank you so much. And our prince rushed back and gave the answer, and he came back. He was free. But the story ends a little after that when the witch offers to her husband, you see, I have a special power. I can be a witch for half the day, and I can be human for half the day. Would you like me to be human in the day and a witch at night? Or a witch in the day and human at night? What do you think the Chief Minister chose? Absolutely. He said, I leave it to you to choose. And she chose to be human all the time. And that's how they lived, however, ever after. We don't know. That's the end of that story. Thank you. And here's another one. It's a traditional story in many ways. So, and I'll perform it also in a traditional style, like I do it with music and movement, which is how they tell stories in the oral narrative traditions across India, whether it is Katha Kalakshepam in Tamil Nadu, or we have Harikatha here, we have Burrakatha in Karnataka, Baul in Bengal, Kawad in Rajasthan, Dastan Goe in Kashmir. All of these traditions combine music, movement, poetry in their narrative. Yeah, so this is another little story which will be done with performance storytelling. Come, come, listen, listen, everybody. Just for you I have a story. Come, come, listen, listen, everybody. Just for you I have a story. Sometimes nice and sometimes scary. Sometimes nice and sometimes scary. Just for you I have a story. Come, 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 come. So welcome to the story, which is set in a beautiful village. And in this village, it's celebration time. Can you guess what is it that they are celebrating? Yeah, good one, very close to that. So yeah, it was a festival that they were celebrating. Sorry? I heard the answer somewhere there. They were celebrating the festival of harvest, Pongal. And they had fantastic crops, everybody was cheering and really delighted, and so the entire village sang in happiness. Pongala pongal, pongala pongal, ullam pola ponga vendu pongala pongal. Hoy! The second time I sing it, you will have to sing the hoy. Pongala pongal, pongala pongal, ullam pola ponga vendu pongala pongal. Pongala pongal, pongala pongal, ullam pola ponga vendu pongala pongal. And like this they sang and celebrated, and they were really joyful, but one person was not at all delighted or happy or joyful in any way. In fact, he was angry, upset, irritated. Can anybody guess who that could be? Yeah, someone similar. Yeah, so the similarities are the person has power, the person can speak, the person can get away with irrationality. He happens to live up in the heavens, and he happens to be the king of the gods, of the Hindu gods. Lord Indra, right? See, it's very clear. We have finance department, Lakshmi, we have knowledge department, Saraswati, we have the love department, Kama, and all of them have their own issues, and you really need this god, this king to handle all of them. And a king is supposed to be rational, mature, and a good decision maker, which Indra was not. But that's the reality, and that's what we had to live with. So, Indra was very upset because this set of villagers, of farmers, was celebrating their harvest. Why do you think he was upset? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Like all the apsaras that come down.
No, I got the answer here. If you could be louder. Yeah, right? He had been forgotten. He hadn't been worshipped, and he said, "What the? Babe, babe, babe. I am here. I'm the one who provides the rain and the thunder and the soil and everything. And they are singing Pongal, Pongal, Pongal. But what about me? What about Indra? Damn it. I am not raining on that village anymore. That's it." The village said, "What? That's it." So they all sat down, they had a meeting, they formed an Indra pleasing committee, and the committee went all the way up, tuck, tuck, tuck. And Indra said, "No." Said, "Indra, please look, try and understand. We promise, you know." Too late. Om Indraya Nama, Indra Devaya Nama. Om. So the whole lot went on and on. Okay. Thank you, Indra. Thank you so much. I will reign on the village after 12 years. What? And Indra looked at them and said, "What? We mean what? How kind of you to have considered this. Wonderful after 12 years. If only you could just reduce it a little and reign after 1 year. It would be great." That's it. 12 years, nothing more. The villagers had no idea what to do and they started walking back home, dejected. And as they were walking down, they met this gentleman on the way. Narayana, Narayana. You know anything about him? Yeah. He solves problems. I mean, he really does. When there's a problem, he'll go and solve it, and when there's no problem, he'll make a problem and then he'll try and solve it. So, of course, when he saw this whole set of people walking down dejected, so, "What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened?" "Narada, you see, Indra has said he's not going to reign on our village for the next 12 years. We all know him. He keeps changing his mind all the time. Go back, I say, go back." "Think so?" "I'm telling you." And Narada left. Narayana, Narayana. Once he was gone, they all returned. They went back to Indra. And they waited there, not 1 day, not 2 days, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. They just stood there and said, "Om Indraya Namaha." Well, of course, they lost time. But at the end of 7 months, Indra was mighty pleased. And he said, "All right, I will reign on your village." Thank you so much, Indra. If I will reign on your village, oh, what now? If Shiva plays his Damru. What? Yeah, you heard me. If Shiva plays his Damru, I will reign. Promise? Yeah, promise. Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. They went down and they went all the way up to Kailash Parvat. But by the time they reached, Indra had already flashed across and he had said, "Shiva, listen, for the next 12 years, please do not play your Damru." And Shiva said, "All right." So by the time the people came up all the way and they said, "Om Shivaya Namaha," and finished all the greetings and said, "We need a small help from you." And this gentleman told them, "Yes, I would really love to help you. In what way can I be of help?" And they said, "We just need you to play your Damru." "I'm so sorry. I cannot play my Damru for the next 12 years. I have just given my word to Indra." "What? Indra is the one who told us that he will reign on us if you played your Damru." Shiva was, of course, hurt as hell to hear this, but being duty bound, he said, "I'm sorry, I cannot play the Damru." And so the people went back. And they told the rest of this village, which was waiting to hear the news. They said, "Next 12 years, no rains." Everyone sat around all night, the children and the grandmothers and grandfathers, under the night sky. And when it was morning, no one had the will to do anything at all. But out came this one sprightly farmer. And got down. Yeah. And he got down to his task, oblivious apparently of whatever was happening around. And everybody watched as he dug and he put the seeds and he sowed them and he watered them and he dug and he put the seeds and he sowed and he watered and he dug and he put the seeds and he sowed and he watered. Finally, one of them went up to him and said, "Listen, stop it." Yeah, yeah. What are you doing? Farming, of course. Yeah, we know you're farming, but don't you know that we don't have any rains for the next 12 years? Yeah, I know. Don't you know that without rain, these seeds will not sprout? Yeah, I know. And he went on. Then why on earth are you farming? See, I know that next 12 years, no rains. I know that if I put these seeds, they are not going to sprout. But after 12 years, when it rains, what if I have forgotten farming? So I'm practicing now. Now the others were a little confused. I said, "What? Practicing?" Yeah, I'm practicing now. While this whole conversation was happening, this man up there, Shiva, his wife was watching what was happening. And she turned to her husband and she said, "ए जी सुनिए, अगर आप भी डमरू बजाना भूल गए तो एक बार जरा चेक कर लेना." And so, Shiva being one of those rare husbands who listens to his wife, he took his damru and just to check, he played it and it rained, and once again the farmers were singing and celebrating Pongal Pongal, Pongal Pongal, Ulla Pola Ponga Vendu Pongal Pongal, Pongal Pongal, Pongal Pongal, Ulla Pola Ponga Vendu Pongal Pongal. Thank you very much. And I know this is a story, I know things are very different in real life, but I really wish strength and to all the communities who are working with the farmers, for the farmers, and I hope they all sing and celebrate Pongal like this. Thank you, Anand.
One more. Oh yes, I'd love to share, but Anand has told me that we're running. One more.
Practice.
One more.
Okay, this is a very short one, but again one of my favorites. It's a story that people have often not heard. Yeah, so I think I'll share this one. It's a story of this man called Tenali Rama. Yeah. We're familiar with him. He's from the neighboring region. So this is a story of this gentleman Tenali Rama, who was a minister in the kingdom of King Krishnadevaraya, the kingdom of Vijayanagaram. And he was known to be very wise, clever, witty, and always in the favor of the king, and naturally extremely unpopular with the other ministers. Every time he would be rewarded, "Tenali Rama, this is fantastic." And the other ministers would go, "हम भी तो काम कर रहे हैं, इसको ही हमेशा ऐसे शाबाशी मिलता है." Well, that's how it was. And everybody always looked for an opportunity to put Tenali Rama in trouble. And one such came very soon, when in the court of Krishnadevaraya, a Pahalwan came in and he said, "Namaskar." You see, his biceps were so big, he couldn't even say Namaskar. And this Pahalwan came and said, "Namaskar, Raja. I am the best Pahalwan in the whole of Hindustan, and I dare anyone in your kingdom who's better than me."
And of course, Krishnadeva, of course we have the best in our kingdom, and there are many who will take up the challenge. And a silence, and a very uncomfortable pause, and suddenly, one gentleman came forward. It was Tenali Rama, and Krishnadeva Raya said, "Fantastic! I knew you'd live up to keep the honor of Vijayanagaram." And Tenali Rama was thinking, who the hell pushed me? But then he looked up and he said, "I'm always there, Raja." And Mr. Pelwan looked down and said, "He? Raja, just give me 1 week's time." What, to get biceps like mine? I am talking to the Raja, not to you. Raja? And the Raja said, "All right. 1 week is fine. And Mr. Pelwan, you have not seen Vijayanagaram. Please go around, see our beautiful kingdom, be our guest." Pelwan said, "Okay, but with him." Anyway, we meet next Sunday. And so, everyone dispersed. And the Pelwan went around. He was enjoying the kingdom. Punugu, he had never tasted it. And so many other interesting dishes. And finally, after 3 days, it struck him, where is this Tenali Rama? He had not seen the man ever since the announcement of the match. He said, "Has he run away?" So he went around and he asked a few people. He said, "Where is he, bhai? Where is Tenali Rama? Did you all see him? Did anybody see him?" Everybody said no. And then he got curious. He said, "Where is his house?" He found out where is the house. So he found his way to Tenali Rama's house. Tuck, 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 tuck. "Namaste. I have come to meet Tenali Rama." "Oh, he's not there. He's gone away on a secret mission." "What?" Some Pelwan, some Dullu Pullu, somebody's come. It's me. I'm the Pelwan. "Oh, okay. He's going to be having a match with you, right? Yeah, he's gone away for that." "What about? In what regard?" "Oh, no, I can't tell you. It's a secret." "You don't understand. You have to tell me. It's very important." No. He'll be very upset if I tell you." And so the Pelwan used a smart trick. "You see, I owe him some money." "Acha, okay. You see, he's actually in the Hanuman temple. He's doing penance. Tapasya." "Tapasya for what?" "To get Hanuman's blessings, no? So that he can fight that wrestler." I mean, tapasya, do these things happen in today's times? "Oh, don't doubt the power of tapasya. Anyways, you want to give the money, no? You have to go up the hill, down the hill, round the well, into the forest, and on the other side, when you come, you'll see a small Hanuman temple. Tenali Rama's there." "Huh. Thank you very much." And the Pelwan left to meet Tenali Rama. Of course, Tenali Rama was right in the house at the moment, and the Hanuman temple was very close by, so he quickly popped in to the Hanuman temple. And behind the big idol of Hanuman was Tenali Rama's friend, sitting there with a nice natural speaker made with dry banana leaf, and also with a lot of flowers. He was hiding behind the idol. So both of them sat in their act when they could see the Pelwan huffing and puffing and coming closer. So the moment Tenali Rama saw him come closer, "Jai Hanuman Gyan Guru Sagar, Jai Peace Tilo Kucha Ramaduta Tirtha Brahman, Dripatapanis Raman," and he went on and on. And from there the Pelwan came closer and closer and closer. And he looked and he was terribly amused. I mean, in today's times, tapas and penance and whoever heard of this? And he watched, and Tenali Rama was deep. "Jai Hanuman Gyan Guru Sagar, Jai Peace Tilo Kucha Ramaduta Tirtha Brahman." And suddenly a voice boomed, "Bhakt, I am very pleased with you. You will be filled with my powers, the powers of Hanuman. You can defeat anyone under the sun." And tring, flowers fell on him. And Tenali Rama looked surprised as hell. "Hanuman, you have blessed me. Now I will go back." And all the color ran out of the Pelwan's face. He ran right out of the kingdom, and no one knew anything about him. And they thought he was resting and preparing for the match. So next Sunday, everybody gathered. All the people, the king proudly waiting, all the ministers, terribly excited that finally Tenali Rama will get his due. And Tenali Rama walked in nice and confident, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, but no news of the Pahlwan. Finally, the king said, "What is going on?" And he sent his messengers. They finally caught up with Mr. Pahlwan. Said, "Where are you going? Huh? Listen, I accept defeat. Your Tenali Rama is much better than me. I accept I'm not the best Pahlwan in the world. Please inform Krishna Deva Raya." And so the messengers came back to the kingdom. All the ministers waiting. Maharaja, Maharaja, the Pahlwan has accepted defeat. And once again, the Maharaja was so happy with Tenali Rama. "Tenali Rama, you have once again saved the honor of my kingdom." And he gave him a bag of gold coins, and he applauded with happiness while all the ministers once again went back home dejected. But I hope you all go back home happy and delighted. Thank you. Thank you very much.